Hello, I'm Bill Fong. I'm in Fremont, California. Hope everybody's having a great day.
Good morning, Marco, over here in Irwindale, California.
Yeah. Tom Sykes, I'm in Bowie, Maryland on the other coast. Good morning.
Hey, Tom, how's the weather back in Maryland today?
We still got a little bit of snow on the ground. It's this morning when I got up, it was 25.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
Temperature
Adam
doesn't
Morgan.
matter. I've got a rack of ribs on now, getting ready to put on a spatchcock chicken later on.
Oh, great.
That'll be dinner tonight.
Adam Morgan in Houston, Texas.
Hey, Adam. I was just in Houston last week, cooking the Houston Last Stockman Rodeo. I had a fun time.
Yeah, good time. I've got Montgomery County coming up at the beginning of April.
Okay. And there's Austin Rodeo this week, right? Is it?
I believe that one's this week. Yeah.
This week, yeah. Yeah. Lots of things happening around the country.
Oh yeah, the weather is not bad here. At least it's 40s, 50s. We didn't get any snow like they did in Tennessee.
Yeah, I froze my buttons off in Houston. It was like 20 degrees.
Yes, sir.
And I showed up in shorts, right? They cooked the Houston Last Stockman Rodeo because the weather forecast said 70 degrees. And I land and it's like in the teens. It's like, oh, what happened here? You know?
Yeah, Mother Nature is fickle.
What is it you always say in Texas, right? If you wait 5 minutes, the weather will change, right?
Yeah, definitely when you get south of Dallas. Yes, sir.
All right.
And I'm Steve
Anyone
in
else?
Rhode Island. And
Okay.
so it's 30, it's expected to be 34 degrees, I think, for a high today. So, I have ribs, chicken thighs, and a meatloaf out on the smoker right now. And the ribs have the Harry Soo's chicken on the meat side and the all-purpose on the bone side. Trying that out.
Bro.
Hey, wonderful, Steve. Wonderful. Yeah. What do you call Steve Guerin? Chris Guerin contacted me. He's at the Dallas World Championship right now, the SCA World Championship. So I did get a couple of invites from my fans to be with them in Dallas this weekend for the SCA Steak World Championship as well as the ancillary World Championships. But unfortunately, I had scheduled a class yesterday, so I was up to my eyeballs, teaching a full class. But I have very good news that Chris is using my moolah. And
Nice.
he made it to the finals. So he has the highest taste score in his group. So today is the final. So he made final. So I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that he can win the world championship. So that will be a phenomenal accomplishment to be able to be the #1 steak champion of the world. And
That'd be
talking
cool.
about the product, I actually am gonna try to see if you guys can help me out because a lot of teams are using my moolah to win steak contests. It's a beef rub that's optimized for brisket, so it works really well on beef because it's got like the shiitake mushroom and then the Worcestershire powder and citric acid and a whole bunch of stuff. So I was gonna see if you guys knew people who compete on the steak circuit, right? And they want to try my product. I'm gonna try to send some free product out to people. And if you guys want to try the product in competition, let me know. I'm gonna create a banner for the people who are going to be using my product. So let me see if I can show you guys the banner here. Let's see here, 1 second. If we find the banner, I'm gonna show you guys what's going on. So while I'm doing that, looking for the banner, if you guys want to do any Q&A, want to learn anything from me, just keep shooting and I'll try to multitask and find the banner and answer questions at the same time.
Yeah, I had a question. I know sometimes you say you use MSG for flavoring. Do you usually add that in with the seasoning or towards the end of the cook?
You can do it both ways. MSG can be applied right on the meat. It can be mixed into the dry seasoning. You can also put it into your sauce. You can put it into your marinade. You can also put it into your injection. So those are the combinations that you can use.
Gotcha. Like, so with chicken or brisket, I mean, what's the parts? Like, how much would you add normally? Or would you just follow the recommendation?
You would use the same amount. I would say the guideline I recommend is about half of the salt that you would put. So imagine that you have salt, right?
Right.
That would be about an idea of half of it.
In
So
addition
let's
to
say
the
you decide
salt,
you want
or
to put half
remove
a
the salt?
teaspoon of salt, you put a half a teaspoon of MSG.
With or without the salt? still have
oh,
the salt in.
I leave my salt in. So what I do is, let's say if I use a half teaspoon of salt, right? I'll put in a quarter teaspoon of MSG.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? My recommendation is this, right? You know Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars?
Right.
Okay. So that's what happens to your tongue if you have too much MSG.
Right. Yeah.
So-
So I haven't used it in competition before, and I definitely don't use it at home. But
Yeah. So my
you know,
recommendation
it's
is
one of the
practice at home, right? And then
Yeah.
you kind of how you season your food, right? If you are new to using MSG, my recommendation is that test it on cooked food
Right.
so that you know the amount you put, right? So let's say you have a rib A and rib B. You take a rib, you cut two pieces, right? One rib and two ribs. So you put MSG on one rib, right? Slowly increase the amount of MSG. Sprinkle some, taste it. Sprinkle some, taste it, right? And then use a control rib and a side, and then bite the two ribs. And then you get to a point where the MSG rib reaches the level of extra flavor that you want.
Right.
And after a few attempts, you'll know how much to use. Can that make sense?
Yeah.
You want to have subtlety because I judge competition, so I can tell you that a lot of teams don't know how to use MSG. They put it on as if it's like a lot of it, and really there is a very fine line between too much and then just having a flavor enhancer. Remember, the word is called flavor enhancer. It is not called flavor overpowerer.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't need to drink a gallon of water when you're eating it.
Yeah, and then your tongue goes weird, and then you talk like Jar Jar Binks, blah 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 blah, right? So that's why in competition, my brisket entry is inedible because my brisket is so salty that you cannot eat the brisket, and it wins contests. That's because the judges have already eaten 16 ounces of chicken, 16 ounces of ribs, 16 ounces of pulled pork before they even get to the brisket entry. So they've eaten 48 ounces of meat before they get to the brisket, and their tongue is already shot. The 8,000 taste buds are already destroyed. So if I don't make the brisket like crazy ass salty, they're not going to register.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, you get a lot of. I think we have about I think this year we got about 200 teams at Montgomery County.
Yeah, and
A lot.
subtlety is important, and I can tell you, the judges that I talk to, they don't like the MSG too strong because they know what it does to their taste buds.
Right.
So when I notice when a judge tastes an entry that has too much MSG, they'll make a comment. So after you judge the round, you talk. Right. And then the judge will say, entry number 4 was a little bit too much, it was the flavor was too strong. So I already know that comment means that they didn't like the extra effect of the MSG. Now, Adam, MSG is a neurotransmitter also, right? Did I say that to you before? Did I tell you that before?
No, but I think you said it in a video before.
Yeah. So glutamic acid is in your brain, right? So glutamic acid is a neurotransmitter, and it's used for your neurons to talk to each other. Kind of like your internet in the brain, right? Mm-hmm. Uses glutamic acid as one of the neurotransmitter chemicals. So neurotransmitter, neuro is brain, transmitter is signal. So it's a brain signaling chemical that is in your body, is a natural amino acid, one of the 20 amino acids on Earth. So I think that as in everything else in life, too much of anything is not good.
Yeah.
Right? If you drink 50 cups of Starbucks, right? You feed 50 cups of Starbucks to the rat will die. And does that mean that Starbucks is bad? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I got you 100% there. Yeah,
Yep.
And then I know they do double blind. They do a first round, and they got to get through about 10 judges, and then they get to the final table with 6 judges. So it's getting that through that first one, and then to the second, and making sure you have your your best game there.
Yes, absolutely, and that's how I guess the key is balance and subtlety. And my recommendation is practice at home first, and sprinkle some on cooked food, and then do a taste, and then most important, have your family try it.
Yeah,
that's the best.
I did that, so I did that last night, and I didn't use MSG to begin with because I want to make sure what style they liked first, and so I've got it narrowed down to just a simple brining and seasoning was the number one choice of them because I did 6 different flavors, and I did dry, brine, I did three brine 3, and out of those 3 that are brine, 1 stayed just brine.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were also injected, and then I did 2 birds just injected different flavors and seasoned, and they chose the brine seasoned one.
Yeah, if you want, I don't know if you can see my screen, right? So I do sell a MSG version.
Yeah. Okay.
So
And
that's
then
what
you're
Chris.
are you in? Is this one online only, or can you pick this one up in the other stores as well? The big.
This
box
is
stores?
online only because the problem I have is that if I put MSG in my product, right, people won't buy it because there's a
Right,
lot
maybe
of
it's
what I
too much.
call misinformation or disinformation about MSG. Even though when you go to McDonald's and you order the chicken McNuggets, nobody complains that they have a headache after they eat chicken McNuggets. But
Sure.
when they see something with MSG, they claim they're sick after that, right? They have a brain
Yeah.
damage. So I do sell this to my competition teams, and they buy the hot MSG. It has extra heat in it, and that works really well for comps. Chris was using my regular moolah. He was winning, but he's winning much more consistently using the MSG one. So I put the MSG
Right.
already in the product, and my
Yeah.
co-packer makes that in Cleveland. So she takes my regular rub and then adds that for the competitors, because my pedigree is I used to sell my rub not to the public. I used to sell my rub to competitors. So that's kind of how I started my business. And
Right.
now I have to sell the competitor version as an add-on product. And if you guys are interested, let me know. I'm trying to find more people to try my product to see if they can win golden tickets, because a lot of people have contacted me. They won golden tickets to the World Championship in Dallas using the products, the ones that the comp product. I believe the national champion of Australia is from Melbourne. I think they told me that they won the national championship using the moolah, and they are in Dallas now. So I'm waiting to hear. I have a long list of people. I'm waiting to hear back, because I think today's the finals. Chris Garin made the finals. He's from California. He's using my product, and he's I think doing the finals today. So I wish him all the best.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I'll definitely try that out, because I'm definitely looking for something to step up our game. Competition, my 2nd year doing it. I'm usually just a backyard guy, and to me, the biggest compliment is it's nothing's left from the zone, and that's been the key. But I've joined a team, some family friends, and I just enjoy it. I just love cooking.
Absolutely, it's a heck of a lot of fun, and you get to hang with your buddies and cook some food, and maybe win some cash at the end of the day.
Yeah. I wish on this one. This one's just charity, but hey, it's for the kids, so it's a good charity event.
Absolutely.
Give back. Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely look at the competition ones there online and pick some of those up.
Okay. Anyone has any questions? I'll share some answers with you.
Oh yes, how's your sales going with the Jealous Devil co-sponsor with your rubs and with their charcoal? How's that going on?
It's slowly picking up steam. I think everybody knows COVID dealt a blow to many businesses.
Oh yes.
The past 2 years, and I think that things are slowly returning back to normal. For those of you who are not aware, Jealous Devil private labels my rubs and sauce, and I've been trying to get into like Home Depot and Walmart and all, and it's impossible for a one-person, company like mine to be, to get into Walmart. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to partner with Jealous Devil. They have a large USA operation selling charcoal, distributing it through 5 warehouses across America. So I did demos for them in the past, and they seemed to like my product. And I spoke to the owner. The owner wanted to get private label. And so I have my product in their bottle, in their label, which I helped design, called the Love Sauce. And we've been trying to get it into the big box store. That's why I mentioned to you guys, I'm heading to Home Depot on Tuesday to cook 2 hogs over 2 days for Jealous Devil's promotion demo, because Home Depot wants to carry Jealous Devil in all their stores. So I've been trying to wrangle my way in, saying that if you carry Jealous Devil in Home Depot, can you give me a little cubby space above the pallet so I can put some of my products there? And then Jealous Devil's got some other accessory products. So I'm working really hard to make sure I can wow them with the hog I have to cook on Tuesday and another hog on Wednesday. And hopefully if Home Depot decides to carry Jealous Devil in their stores, then they can get me a little space, then I can start that little tiny step into nationwide distribution. Because a lot of people tell me my product, they like my product, they hate to pay shipping, they like to go to the store and pick it up. And you know, I'm trying my very best to get the product out. I have also 7 new rubs ready. I have put out 3 new sauces ready. So I've been working hard. This is my 2nd month of retirement. So I'm taking my 50 hours a week building data centers and putting the 50 hours a week into this barbecue adventure area. So, you know, hang in there, guys. I am trying my very best.
Yeah, Jealous Devil I know is in Academy, which is a large sporting goods store down here in the South, based out of Texas, Sugar Land, actually. But I saw yesterday they had Jealous Devil products in there, so hopefully get in there. I know they got quite a few different lines of seasoning. I think Big Mo's on there and a couple other people.
Yeah, I have been trying to get into the stores, and you know, America's like a mafia, right? You know, it's like you cannot, as a small business, just sell to anybody. You have to kind of like get into the distributor network, and the distributor network is very hard to penetrate because the brokers want to get paid, the distributors want to make a lot of money. And then when you sell it to the Home Depot, they also want to make a lot of money. So, you know, I'm you know, gonna report to you guys that when I try to sell a bottle of rub for like $11 or $12, right, I can barely make 40 cents a bottle.
Yep.
That's how the business works. It's very rough and tumble. So you know, if I have to sell 1,000 bottles, right, to make a small profit, to make $40, you know. So it's really a tough business that I'm trying to get into. But, you know, like I say, that's how the America works. So you just gotta go with the flow.
Yeah. It's about quality over quantity. You know, if it's good, it's going to speak for itself. You get that cult following.
Yeah, the product works. I know because a lot of people use it on the comm circuit. And that's the most brutal way to test a product, right? Because it's double blind. So it's not like somebody says, hey, I say my product is good, whoopee-doo. That doesn't really mean anything. It's the end of the day, in a double blind contest, if your entry beats everybody else, then you know whatever product you use to season your meat or use on the sauce, we know that works, you know. And I've been trying to put up 4 sauces because I'm going to be on my van, doing van life, competing across America, visiting folks like you, my patrons. I just came back from Lincoln, California. I went to visit one of my patrons, Sean Joyce. So he's one of my kind of a longtime patrons. So I went to his house and I did a custom class with him. So he bought a bunch of meat and invited all his family over, and we did a day-long class. And we cooked the Snake River Farm brisket. We cooked beef, short rib, the dino ribs. We made paella. I thought he wanted to make a salmon. So I'm actually editing that video now. I'm going to post for you guys to see. So I plan to visit all you guys out in America and visit you and cook with you. And that's probably one of the things I would love to do, because that, to me, talking on Zoom is great. Interacting with you guys on Zoom and email is great. But I really want to come and visit you guys, my Patreons, and then cook with you side by side in your backyard, and then show you guys some tricks that you probably see me do. But it's a lot different when you see me do it with you in person. So had a fun time with Sean and his family, and then also with Gil and his family. So I am going to visit all my Patreons as best as I can as I travel across America. So watch this space for updates on how I may be able to swing by and cook with you, because I'm fixing my van right now to convert it into a solo Pitmaster van life. So I'm going to cram all my equipment in there, go around the country. I've already got invites all over the country to go hang out with people. And all I need is, I just need a spot to park on your street or park in your driveway. And I'm going to set up my van so that I'm completely self-sufficient. I can pop up and do a whole cook right from my vehicle.
That'd be pretty cool.
You still using that same Honda van, or is it a new van you're getting?
Yeah, my van has got a lot of miles. It's a early 2000s van, and I have a good guy. His name is Ronnie. He's my Honda repair shop guy. So he keeps my van to factory spec. So even though it's got a lot of miles, right, I've replaced pretty much everything on it. I used to fly airplanes. So, when you fly an airplane, you really have to keep your equipment in good working condition, because when you have an engine problem, you can't just pull over and call AAA. So because with that kind of background, I kind of keep all my cars the same way. I keep everything to factory spec. So if the water pump needs to be replaced, I'll replace it. If the timing belt needs to be replaced, I'll kind of do it based on what I call a life schedule. So I also, because I know people who run these cars, they know like my Honda has weaknesses in certain areas. So I tell them, whatever you feel is weak, just swap it out. I'll just cover the cost of it because I need it to travel 3,000-4,000 miles at a time. So I'm gonna go on these trips, right? I may go on like a 4-week road trip, come and visit you guys. I'm gonna drive all the way to Texas, drive all the way to the East Coast, and I have to be able to make it there and back.
Yeah, definitely worth putting the time in for maintenance. As a mechanic myself.
Hey Harry, on your rubs that you have on the screen right now, are they spicy hot or it's just hot with MSG? Just
you can get it 2 ways. You can get a hot version and you can get an MSG version, and the third version is hot and MSG.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, the hot is because when you cook competition, it seems to do well with the judges, and I'm not sure why, but I think that when you eat so many entries, if the entry has a little bit of heat in form of either cayenne pepper or kind of using what I call tisafari. We use a tisafari pepper in it. It's kind of expensive. I also use a little bit of cayenne in it. So I have actually, like in the hot blend, I have 3 different peppers.
Oh.
So the heat is kind of, I have 2 kinds of heat, right? So I tune flavors for a specific purpose. So the heat is kind of burn, and then it's numb, and then it fades. So I spend a lot of time in my little Frankenstein lab in my kitchen concocting all these things. So if you want to try like my new sauce called Hot Burn, I spend a lot of time building the Hot Burn. And what happens is I enjoy hot sauces, but the problem with hot sauces is they're always too hot. They first burn, they just kind of like destroy your taste buds. So when I was designing my barbecue sauce and I wanted a hot version, which I use for competition, I designed it so that you get the first 3 seconds, you get flavor. And then the second 3 seconds, you get a burn. And the next 3 seconds, you get a numb. And the next 3 seconds, it fades. So I designed my sauce with a 12-second cycle. So once you finish it, you're ready to start over. And people who have tried my hot burn say, wow, that's pretty interesting that the sauce can give you 4 different flavor profiles in one sauce over 12 seconds. So for those of you who have not tried it, I built the sauce like Lego blocks, because I realized that as I'm competing in my van across America, I can't carry every sauce for every region. Does it make sense? If I go to Kansas City and I want a sweet sauce, then I got to carry sweet sauces for all the 4 entries. Then I go to North Carolina, I got to get the vinegar set for my 4 meats. I go to Texas, then I got to get a non-sweet set. So I realized that I can't carry all this stuff in my van. There's no room to carry 50 sauces as I go on the road. So I told myself, why don't I just build 4 sauces? Original, hot, sweet, and tangy. And I blend these sauces for the different competitions. Like I won first place USA. I used 50% of my tangy sauce, 50% of my sweet sauce. That was good for first place USA on the chicken entry. And then on like the other entries I have, like ribs, I use the hot burn and the original, and I mix it together. And that way I have 4 Lego blocks that I can create any sauce flavors I want for any part of America. So that was the kind of like the mad scientist idea behind the idea for the 4 sauces.
Yeah, sort of layering those flavors.
Yeah, and then the thing is, I don't have to carry so many sauces, because in the past, I would blend sauces, right? So let's say I drive to Kansas City from Los Angeles. It takes me about 30 hours. I'll make the sauces in LA, right? And then drive to Kansas City and compete and come home. Then I realized if I want to do van life and I want to compete on the road, going from place to place and buying meat from the grocery store, I don't have the ability to carry so many different kinds of sauces. So let's say if I go to Texas and I compete, and after that I want to go over to Arkansas and I want to go to Memphis, I'm going to like cook Memphis in May, I can't carry all that stuff with me without flying home or driving home, and it's too far to drive. Yeah. So I built it so that I can carry these bottles with me and then immediately mix it to to ensure that I can create the flavor profile that I need for the region I'm competing. Anyone have any other questions before I kind of share with you some other updates on what's happening?
Okay.
Yeah, I've
I
got
have a
one real
question
quick.
for you.
Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna pick your brain a little bit on binders. Right now, the way I kind of go about a binder is that I use it to kind of accentuate the food of what I'm doing. So I really enjoy doing a sriracha binder because it gives me a little residual heat with whatever the spices are that I'm using. I've used QP mayo for lean cuts of meat because the mayo has an inherent fat in it, so it kind of helps with some of the lean. And sometimes if I just need some kind of a cheap binder, I'll just use mustard and just put that on there just to kind of use that. But I was just curious how you use binders and if you think like the way that I'm going about it, should I be going about it a different way? Or, do you approach it a different way? I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on, do you mix and match and, how you go about using binders?
Okay, so let me just back up and explain to everybody what a binder is. The binder is like a schmear. It's usually the primary purpose of a binder is to allow your rub to adhere better to the meat. And the binder is typically used when you prep meat that's dry. So let's say you want to do a rack of ribs and the rib is dry. You want to apply the seasoning onto the rib. You can use a binder or schmear to apply on the rib before you apply the dry seasoning so that the dry seasoning sticks better. If you inject your meat, if you inject your rib, you inject your pork butt, you inject your brisket, the use of the binder is usually not necessary because the surface of the meat is already wet. The wet tacky surface will allow your dry seasoning to stick. So that's kind of the background behind what a binder or schmear is. Is it commonly used in barbecue? The answer is I've seen it used primarily on ribs. So a lot of people on the competition circuit will put a binder on the rib and then put the rub on. I don't see it so often on competition chicken because a lot of competitors brine their chicken. So the chicken's already wet, so there's no need to use a binder. I don't see it usually on pork butt competition. I don't see it on brisket competition. I see it a lot in restaurant use. And if you saw my videos with Goldies and all, you can see that Goldies and all, they use mustard to bind. The key to using a binder is twofold. There's two objectives. One is to have a non-flavor enhancing way to get the rub on. And then the other way, some people use the binder to add flavor and also to add tenderizing effect. So like the QP mayo idea is the mayo. The QP mayo idea is something that people use on chicken skin. So they use that technique, right, to provide more tender chicken skin. You've seen my many chicken competition videos on all the different ways to make the skin tender, bite through for competition. Using mayo is one of the ways to get the skin to be tender. So that kind of answered the question. Now, what do? I don't use a binder when I do brisket and butt because I inject. I sometimes use binder on my ribs. I use primarily mustard on pork. And the binder I use for my steaks and SCA is I use Worcestershire. So those are the two meats I use binders on typically. So that covers what I call the competition binder. So let me move to the third category, which is creating custom, what I call binder pastes, right? So if I make a Yucatan or Mayan style pork butt, I will use basically a slurry. So a slurry is kind of like a binder, but you mix the slurry with blood oranges, annatto seed. You mix it with a little bit of like chili, and then you create like a marinade slurry paste that you smother onto the pork butt. And after that, I put my rub on. So those are the kind of the three ways that I use the binder in my style of cooking.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I had a quick question real quick. Have you tried doing the pork lard or the beef tallow injection on a competition brisket yet?
I have not actually done in competition, but I did a lot of testing on the videos in my channel. So I will tell you pork fat rules. Ditch all the other intel you have read about using beef tallow. Pork fat is much better. The cheapest pork fat I found is from Walmart. You buy the tub of lard from Farmer John. It's $6.25 in Los Angeles. So my recommendation is use pork lard. I went and taught Ryan from at Houston Livestock and Rodeo. So I think his brisket finished 40th place using pork fat. So pork fat works. So for those of you who have not tried pork fat, I've been using pork fat as the mop. I'm using pork fat as the injection, and I'm using pork fat as the butcher paper wrap. And pork fat works. I mean, you know, and the only challenge is that you have to pay for pork fat. If you use the beef tallow, the beef tallow is free, because when you trim your brisket, there's a lot of beef tallow. So when I trim my brisket, I just throw my scraps into a foil pan and throw it in the pit when I cook my brisket. So by the time my brisket is ready to wrap, the tallow is already ready. Pork fat, you know, the tub of pork fat is $6. That $6 tub of pork fat lasts a long time. So if you would like, you can buy the pork fat and use that. Also, I find the really good thing to use is bacon grease. So if you cook a lot of bacon at home, right, save that bacon grease, because you really need salty, smoky pork fat. That's the secret to cooking good brisket.
Yeah. So yeah, it's what I did. It was my bacon grease, and then I put it in the smoker yesterday with the chicken. Golden color to it today.
You can't argue pork fat rules, man. There must be wisdom in that saying, and people say it all the time. And I always thought that just something that people like to say, but I've proven it to myself at least that it works.
How about using the caul fat? Caul fat.
The caul fat works too. Yeah, the caul fat is hard to find, and pork fat works just as well. I did the test with the caul fat. For those of you not aware what caul fat, the caul fat is a lace fat that's in the animal. It surrounds some of the internal organs. So I found some caul fat. I did the caul fat episode with Pitmaster Winnie on the beef caul fat, and it was just too gamey and too irony. It tastes like iron, kind of like a gaminess. But the pork fat is very neutral. So if you want to try caul fat, you can use caul fat from the pig, which is the lace netting that it covers the beef, covers the pig's internal organs. You try that on your brisket. It works really well. I have not tried in competition yet. I just did it as a test at home, and I posted a video. But definitely pork fat is the way to go, is my best recommendation. So when I compete in my next brisket entry, I'm going to use pork fat as my secret ingredient.
Love to see that video, that's for sure.
Let's see. My next item is I'm going to be, I won't be cooking a contest in a while. My next big one is the Memphis in May. So we're going to go cook 1,800 slabs of ribs in Memphis in May. That will be a crazy ass hot event.
I'll let you know how it turns out for me in April, because I definitely plan on doing that for my brisket.
Yeah, I would say try it at home first. Try it at home and reach out to me.
Yeah, I used it. I haven't injected with it, but I definitely used it for like my mop, and then when I wrap, I've been using that. But I also did on my pork ribs too, and it turns out wonderfully.
Yeah, if you inject it, just be mindful that your brisket is at about 38 degrees, right? So when you inject that pork fat, it's going to coagulate. So just be aware that will happen.
Yeah, I was thinking, well, following your videos, I was thinking, do the 100, 110, 105, somewhere in there.
The hot injection. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, if you do the hot injection, it works really well. The 101 degree type temperature, you inject, then it's a liquid, then it works really well. Yeah.
I guess my question is the Snake River Farms brisket, would you still do it?
No, it would be overkill. Yeah, that would be overkill. The Wagyu is already so fatty. I'm not sure, adding fat to a Wagyu will really help. But, like I say, you got to try it. It's a $300 experiment, but give it a shot.
I've got two of them. I think I'll inject the one of the ones. I'll just use it as the mop. The wrap. So I think it'll work out good, hopefully.
Yeah, whatever you do using beef tallow, just try it with pork fat. And I can tell you that is what I would do, because everybody is so gaga over tallow. I'm gaga over pork fat.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, nobody saves bacon. Bacon's always gone. Might be a lot of leftovers, but bacon's not one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Harry, do you recommend using a variation of your class rub for catering?
Sorry, say that again. Catering. What was it?
If you recommend using a variation of your class rub for catering.
Yeah, I mean, if you have my student in my class, I teach you how to make my rub. People have run successful catering operations using the class rub. And in my class, I teach you guys how to make a rub from scratch. The class rub is fine as is. And I will tell you a little secret. There are many caterers and barbecue restaurants who use the rub. That's why I kind of have to, I also sell the rub in 35-pound pails. So there are some restaurants that use the rub, and it's a variation of the one that I have in class. And the one that I have for restaurant has a little bit more expensive ingredients in there. For example, I use maple sugar, and in the class one, I try to keep it simple. I use regular sugar. So the commercial rubs that I make have a little additional oomph. That's because I want to make sure that that kind of creates the best possible result. So the one I teach in class is designed to be kind of a high volume, lower cost, and it's a very, very good basic rub that you can use in pretty much any situation. The class rub that I teach uses about 6 or 7 ingredients, and I try to make the class rub simple because you can't buy Worcestershire powder. You got to go through a food packing company. So in my class, we don't use the Worcestershire powder, but if you want, you can add that to your product to up the game.
I see. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. All right, if I'll pause here and kind of give you guys some quick updates of what's happening. So and then once I tell you kind of quick update, you guys can ask more questions. So a lot of things are happening on Slap Your Daddy. You guys know I retired on December 31st. So I'm officially 2 months into retirement, and my calendar, as I speak now, is filling up now. I'm heading up to, I may be going to Germany to demo. So apparently people are trying to hire me to become the headliner for their event. So the Europe's largest barbecue show is happening in a place called Cologne in Germany. And I've been in negotiation with them to help them produce that event, as well as be the talent for the event, to run different clinics. To give you an idea of the scale, right? It's 6 football fields. That's the size of the event, just for the barbecue alone. So the barbecue event covers Hall 7 and Hall 8. And Hall 7 and Hall 8 are 6 football field size. The whole event is 20 halls. So I understand why it's called the world's largest barbecue event. So it's outdoor show. All the people in Europe come to Germany to showcase all the new products. So I'm kind of working with that. So that happens in June, and we're going to try to figure out how I'm going to get there and then what kind of demos that I'm doing. So that's kind of Germany. I just came back from Seattle. I was there for 5 days. We did a demo, and also same idea. I was a barbecue judge. I helped my friend Saffron, who's the organizer, did some clinics, did some collaboration for different vendors. So now, like GMG, I kind of like got into kind of an informal partnership with GMG. They're going to be sponsoring me on this new episodes I'm doing called Van Life. So like I said, I'm going to show up in your driveway, unpack everything from my van like Mary Poppins, and then set up and then cook in your driveway. And GMG really liked that idea, and they're going to sponsor me with one of those portable pellet grills called a Trek. And it's one of those grills that you can plug in a cigarette lighter. So I'm going to show up in your driveway, set up my canopy, bring out the Trek, pop it into my cigarette lighter on my car, and then cook you guys a meal. So that's something that I'm going to start. And it's called Soto Van Life Pitmaster. Let me see if I can show you guys a graphic of that item here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Give me a second here while I find the graphic of that new idea that we had. And then I also am meeting a different people. So as I mentioned, for those of you who join me later, I am trying to move into becoming a filmmaker, which is really not featuring myself, but featuring other people. So I'm going to feature Pitmaster Winnie. With Pitmaster Winnie is going to be building a restaurant from scratch. So I'm going to try to chronicle her journey building a restaurant from scratch. And I have friends who are inviting me over to their farm. I have a friend, his name is Jason. Jason owns a Wagyu ranch. He owns like 400 head of Wagyu Tajima cattle in Oregon. So he wants me to go out there and then showcase how he raises his cattle. For example, I'm not sure if you know, but within the field where he has the cattle, he has a llama. So if you want to wait, why is a llama in a field with the Wagyu cattle? So apparently the llama is a guard dog. And the llama is very protective of the cattle. So if any coyotes or any predators come into the field, the llama attacks it. So I thought, wow, who would have known that a llama is the guard dog for his expensive Wagyu cattle? So stuff like that, I get very excited when I learn stuff like that. So I love to share these kinds of things with you, because I think that it's something I never knew, that the llama is a fierce attack dog. And what is interesting is llamas and cows are not native to each other. Right? It makes sense, right? Because the cows from Japan and llamas from South America, the two animals never met. But when they are together in a field, the llama's protective instincts come into play, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. So I get charged, I get a kick out of stuff like that. Let me show you the logo here. Get this thing here. I hope you guys can see the screen here.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so that's my new shtick here, because I realized that I enjoy meeting you, going out and meeting people, doing demos, doing restaurant reviews, doing collabs. So I'm actually equipping my minivan. So I think I told you guys I bought a minivan, right? Did I tell you guys that?
Yes.
I went to Cleveland. I bought myself the only supercharged minivan in the world. Nobody makes a supercharged minivan. So it's almost 30 years old. So I'm in the process of restoring this Toyota and bringing it back to factory spec. But I want to go out and meet you guys in person and come visit you and make my journey across America, and then have great adventures and great memories and great stories to tell. So we'll look out for that crazy event here.
Well, Harry, you're more than welcome to come and visit me, man. I'm very close to you here. I'm in Irwindale.
Okay. I need to swing by there when I swing by Sam's Club or Costco, right? Swing by exactly. And say hello. And exactly. Yeah, I'm going to be posting the video with Gil and then Patreon my Sean. So you see kind of how one of these crazy Harry comes and raids your pantry type trips might work. That seems to be my signature now. So whenever I show up in somebody's house, I go into the pantry and pull whatever I can and cook them a meal. So that's a really fun thing that I really enjoy doing. So that way you can see that my spontaneous nature is something that it's not rehearsed. I just show up and just have fun. My friends T-Roy, Baby Back Maniac, and I are starting a new film venture. We are going to start a project together because I'm going to Texas and hanging out with my friends. So we thought we would do our take on Friends, and we'll start a new series called BBQ Friends. So we plan to have 3 seasons of BBQ Friends. So the first season will be BBQ Friends in Texas, where I go to Texas and I hang with my BBQ friends like James Pavia from AM Claimem, Justin from Baby Back Maniac, and T-Roy from T-Roy Cooks. And then we will just go and hang out as friends, like the movie, like the TV show sitcom Friends, and then cook and talk shit about each other in the season 1. So we'll go to Baby Back Maniac's backyard and go by his pool, and we'll do a little throwdown, or we'll bring our favorite meats. I'll be cooking out of my van with a cigarette lighter, Trek GMG grill, against them cooking their LSGs, and we're going to be cooking different meats in season 1. Now, if season 1 turns out to be a success for all of us in terms of getting people to watch, then we're going to go season 2. Season 2 will be when we go to visit you in America. And if season 2 takes off, we're going to go season 3, which is season 3 will be international. So we're going to find somebody to sponsor us so we can go to Italy and do the same thing. So that's kind of like my my filmmaker type project that is coming into focus in the coming months. So you can tell I really enjoy creating all these barbecue adventures so that I can go out and meet you and, you know, meet you in person and cook with you. So I'm going to be also visiting more Patreons over time. So if you guys are interested in me swinging by, just drop me a line and I'll add you to my my Google Maps. And with everything now in my van being converted, I should be able to do that. There's a company I met in Seattle who does, they do what they call van conversions. What they do is they take your van and then they equip it with whatever you need. So I'm actually working with that firm. It's called Camp and Car. Let me see if I can find a logo, show you guys the kind of the collaboration that I'm doing here. 1 second. Let's see here. Where is that file there? Oh, here we go. Let me show you guys what we came up with here. Share screen. Can you see the screen?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you can see the company is called Camp and Car. So if you guys are wondering what kind of company does this kind of work, it's called Camp and Car. So they are based in Seattle. So they are going to partner with me because by way of background, I mean, because I kind of work a lot of design with engineering, I'm going to help them design furniture for the car, for the van. So my requirement is that it's got to be modular and the furniture has to be transferable. So in order for you to live out of your vehicle, the biggest thing that you need is called a bed. And because I need to work 6 hours a day on my computer to do YouTube and edit videos and do my normal business, I am going to design a bed and a chair in my car. So I'm already sketching it out on my design board. They are going to build it for me based on my design and tweak it so that my design can be used in either vehicle that I have. I have a Toyota minivan. I also have my regular Honda, and I also have a Lexus. So it's got to be transferable across all these 3 vehicles. And once they are able to give me a design that works, I'm giving them the right to essentially take that design and sell it to the world. Kind of makes sense. So it's kind of like joint R&D, using Harry's van life as a way to develop prototype products. I'm starting this channel because I've been watching people who travel out of their vans, because there's a huge van life tribe in America today. There is no one doing cooking. And they all talk about the same thing, about how great their solar panels are, they talk about how great their battery chargers are. And I thought to myself, why is there no van life channel focused on food? Because to me, when you're on the road, right, the most important thing when you're on the road is the food. It's great that you travel to all these different places and see all these great attractions and see all these great landscapes, but where's the food? So I want to show how you can go to Walmart, spend $20 and then go cook a 5-star meal right out from your van. And I thought, I do that all the time because when I compete, I can cook a 5-star meal using just a charcoal chimney. So I put the coals in my charcoal chimney and I use that as my burner and my grill and my direct and my indirect cooker. So I thought to myself, why don't I just, show people a whole bunch of episodes where you can cook out of a simple charcoal chimney, you can cook out some out of a simple grill, you can cook some out of a simple cigarette lighter, powered pedal cooker. And I thought to myself, nobody's doing that, so I should share that knowledge with the world, because I think it's kind of fun to travel and cook and have an adventure. And when I travel, right, for me, when I travel, besides the attraction that I'm going to, I think the food is the most important thing. In fact, I'm one of those people, the food is the most important thing. Like when I go to Texas and I visit my friends, right, I always tell them, I'm here to visit you, but I'm really here to eat the barbecue. So don't feel offended that I'm here to visit you, but at the same time, I want to do a barbecue crawl and I want to eat at 5 restaurants. So that's kind of my whole shtick. So that's a kind of quick flyover of some of the things that are coming to you via Patreon and my channel. And I'll continue to make videos on how to cook food, but I want to try to expand my horizon, become more of a filmmaker, showcasing all the great personalities and the legends of America that, you know, like what I did for Goldie's. I was there for 3 days. I have invites from other restaurants now that they want me to come and hang out and do a feature. So it'll be really fun to give you guys a behind the scenes glimpse of how some of these barbecue establishments work, how some of these barbecue legends operate behind the scenes, and who they are, what they are, and how they actually do it in real life versus what you see, you know, on the big screen. So I'm going to be doing more of that. And then if there's any other kind of areas that you want me to get into, because I'm not sure everybody's interested about the story of how a llama protects a herd of Wagyu cattle. but I'm fascinated by stuff like that. So if you guys have any ideas on what interests you, I'd be more than happy to do it. And then if you guys like me to swing by and hang out with you, just let me know, and I'll make sure that I make a detour, or I route myself across America. So I'm going to be like the Star Trek Enterprise, right? Boldly go where no pitmaster van life has gone before, and maybe go on the road for like a month. And then the only key is that I need to be able to continue to work while I'm on the road, and I'm fixing my van now so that I can build a office on wheels. Hey, that's a great idea, right? Office on wheels. O-O-O-W. Okay, ow. Okay, yeah. So that's a great idea. So now I need to sell this to the camp and car people. We're going to create the OW van life furniture. How cool is that? OW stands for Office on Wheels. So that you buy their equipment, right? You buy the contraptions they make, you put into your van. You can get on the road and go out for 6 months at a time and live out of your van and have a home office out of the van. That's great for people who are teleworking, right? Because everybody is still able to telework. So you can still make a living without having to be stuck in a office or stuck in your home. You can make a living out of your vehicle. How cool is that? So that's a great idea. The Office on Wheels concept products.
Stop off at McDonald's every so often because you have to use the Wi-Fi.
No, you don't need to, because nowadays, right? This thing is Wi-Fi now. It's hotspot, right?
Oh yeah.
And then what I've been doing is I've been showering at the gym. So when I went on the road in Texas, I drove all the way from Cleveland down to Texas, back to California. What I would do is I would sleep my van, right? And then I would go and shower at 24 Hour Fitness. Because I already have a membership, right? So and there's thousands of them are all over. So and then the best part is you can go to 24 Hour Fitness, right? And then park in a parking lot and sleep there overnight. Nobody knows. So that's pretty cool, right? To be able to do that. And then you can go to somebody's Patreon's home and I brought my tent, pop up the tent, bring out my grill and cook a fantastic meal. So that'll be a novel concept. I don't know of anyone doing that yet in America.
You can showcase your talent also, because I liked it when you go to somebody's kitchen and raid their pantry and do your creative work. I mean, some of that stuff is amazing. When I saw you raid the T-Roy pantry and create a dish, and when you saw you do the baby back maniacs kitchen and you made a great Asian dish out of it, that was amazing though.
Yeah, again, it's a really fun thing to do, and what do you call that's what I really enjoy doing is cooking on the fly. And I don't get me wrong, I love cooking barbecue, I love cooking meats, but that's kind of routine, right? I mean, after you cook a couple of thousand briskets, right? Okay, a brisket's a brisket. But to be able to go into somebody's pantry and create something that is kind of a little bit unusual, to me, that's a lot of fun, and that's what I love to do. Make a what do you call, one of my patrons asked me recently. He's kosher, and he wanted an idea on how to create kind of a kosher dish, right? So I gave him some idea. I said, hey, why don't you make a beef bacon jam relish? that you can use to top the kosher food that you made. And I love to come up with those kinds of crazy ideas and make different things. I also wanted to mention before I forget that my good friend Bill Dumas, I don't know if you know who Bill Dumas is. Bill Dumas is my friend from Texas. He's from Austin. He's the master sausage maker. He has been inundated with classes, requests on the West Coast. So you guys know that I teach classes in my backyard once or twice a month. So in August of this year, August 16, I'm going to have him actually use my home to do his sausage class. So that's exciting because if it works out, I'm going to be Bill's West Coast school location for sausage making classes, because I think there's a lot of interest now in making South Texas style sausage. He has been inundated with requests to teach classes, and he is looking for a West Coast location. I told him, hey, you know, Bill, you're welcome to come to my backyard and then do classes there, and then I'll be your opening act, you know, for your sausage class. So I can throw in a few dishes here to amuse the class or cook lunch for the class while he teaches his sausage class. So watch out for a sausage class if you are interested in learning how to make world-class sausages from a sausage master. That's going to be coming in August. So I'm also now, you know, becoming an event planner. So using my home to host other pitmasters who have talents in many other different areas.
Seems like Mr. Beans is going to be having a great time just enjoying the leftovers.
Yeah, definitely will be the beneficiary. And then also I'm going to bring him on the road. So I'm going to bring Beans to visit you. How's that? You know, I'm going to have, because a lot of people go on the road with their pets, and you know, he's a pretty small dog, so he'll fit nicely underneath my bunk bed in my van. So I'm going to drag Mr. Beans along and visit all of you.
Hey, I had a question on your pellet smoker. What do you usually use for pellets?
I use two kinds of pellets. I like Jack's, which is made by Jealous Devil. I also use GMG Gold Blend. So those are my two go-to pellets that I use, and they work really well.
Have you tried pellets in competition or no?
No, I have not cooked the competition on a pellet grill before. I know it can be done. Doug Scheiding from Rogue Cookers in Houston, he won the Houston Livestock and Rodeo using a GMG pellet cooker, and he used my chicken rub to win the world championships.
Nice, thank you for the insight.
All right, it's coming up to 10 o'clock, so I didn't want to kind of drag this on too long. So I'll just pause and wait and see anybody has any other questions. I've given you a very quick flyover of all the exciting things that are going to be happening in the coming months. And you guys are all going to be part of my journey as we ramp this all up, and we're going to do it all together. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I say, if you guys have any topics of interest, anything you want me to do, just shoot me a note and I'll be there lickety split.
Hey, Harry, you're going to let us know when to sign up for the for those classes for Bill Dumas?
Yeah, Bill Dumas. Okay, mark your calendar. Let me find my calendar here. It's August. Let's see here. Tell you the date here. Okay, Bill Dumas' class is August 14th, and it's gonna be in Diamond Bar. So he gave me a list of equipment to buy. So I'm in the process of writing up the course curriculum. Bill tends to be a little bit kind of organic in his way of teaching classes. I tend to be a little bit more structured. I type out a curriculum. I type out kind of a synopsis, and then to make it easy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sausage class on the Shopify on my website, because I built the Shopify website so that there's more structure to people being able to register for classes and being able to, you know, give certificates and pay for classes and so on. And then it alleviates me the manual headache of trying to keep track of students, because, you know, I realized I was spending a lot of my time, right, just keeping track of basic things like registration forms and dates and people changing their minds and everything. So I'm trying to kind of like use my web platform to kind of streamline things. I hired Joel. Joel's my business manager now. So Joel is really helping me provide some structure over a lot of these, what I call administrative things that need to happen to make sure that people's experiences what they want, and all this paperwork bureaucracy thing is a necessary evil. I'm just not very good at doing all that administrative paperwork. I came from an environment where I had 12 project managers and a whole bunch of support staff. So now I'm now OPO, 1% operation. So I'm slowly trying to go work in that kind of OPO area, 1% operation. So if you want to put your calendar now, it's August the 14th. If you guys are in the SoCal area, my friend Danny Castillo from Heritage Barbecue has invited 20 or 30 pitmasters from around America to come to San Juan Capistrano to do a big barbecue fair event, like a big barbecue showcase event on August the 13th. So you definitely want to add August 13th in the calendar if you so happen to be in the San Juan Capistrano area. So that was the area about an hour south of Los Angeles. It's going to be some kind of a barbecue fair. The details will be announced soon. So if you plan to be in that area, you can come and take the Bill's class in my backyard on the Sunday. So he's doing that fair on Saturday. I may be at the fair also as a guest serving appetizers on August the 13th, but definitely the sausage class will happen on the 14th of August of this year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let me see what other things on the calendar here. The other thing I also will be going around the country is I am partnering with a company called Crawford Distribution. So they are part of my strategy to get into the stores. And Crawford is a big distributor. They basically have a lot of stores that they provide product to. So basically the way it works is their catalog can be accessed by stores, and then they order from that Crawford catalog. So catalog's a distributor. They don't have any stores, but they sell to the stores. So I have a contact within Crawford. So I have signed up to be like a what do you call a demo person. So whenever the Crawford people want to impress a client and they are gonna pitch my product, I'm going to go there and then pitch the product myself. Kind of makes sense, like be a salesperson, because I'm trying to kind of create more awareness for my product and more availability in terms of the stores that carry my product. And like I mentioned to you, I'm a 1% operation. So it's very hard for a 1% company to get into those kinds of channels. But I'm moving from what I call the online channel on YouTube, I'm on Amazon and my website, moving into the distributorship, because the distributorship can serve 25,000 stores. So that's what my other counterparts like Meat Church and Heath Riles and How to Barbecue Right, Malcolm Reed, they all have done. So I'm actually following the footsteps of my peers, and they have gone and got their product out to the marketplace using that methodology. So I need to kind of back off from my one person selling product on my website to what we call a distributorship model. So I'll be doing more of that this year and visiting various stores to do store demos. So you might see me in Costco handing out samples. So that's going to be me now.
Actually, I'm looking forward to seeing your video on doing the Home Depot show this coming week. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, you can see me struggle with the hog. So I told them 50 pounds is good, because I don't think that for a display hog, you need bigger than 50 pounds, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the hog at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no refrigeration in my hotel room. And I got a 50-pound hog that I just cooked. So, I guess we're just going to serve it to the workers in the parking lot who work the event.
Unless you bring a cooler with you and some bags and get some ice at the same day.
Yeah, but what I'm going to do with the cooked pig in my cooler, and that cooler can't fit in my minivan anyway. So I do have some logistical, constraints I have to kind of navigate through. But I'm there as the person who is going to create the showpiece. So I'll just do my job, create the beautiful hog, decorate it with kale and bell peppers and a pineapple, and then wow the buyers, and hope the buyers will buy from Jealous Devil, because if they buy Jealous Devil, it stocks in Home Depot. Then I'm going to negotiate a little shelf above the Jealous Devil rack to put all my rubs and sauces.
I guess the hotel workers are going to benefit from Harry Soo's cooking.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when I do demos in these kind of event managed lots, at the end of the day, we try to give it to the security guard, give it to the other people, because a lot of people work really hard, right, to put on these events, and they don't get paid a lot of money to do those events. And people sweep up the trash, make sure that everything is good. So I always try to spread barbecue love to them as best as I can.
Great.
Hey, Harry, you might want to try to find a soup kitchen in the area.
Yes,
They will probably take it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So that's on my to-do list here to look.
They take any food.
Yeah, and if you know any food bank in Las Vegas, I would be happy to personally drive the food over to them, because the hog will probably cost a lot of money to cook, and we're cooking 2 hogs over 2 days. And I'm sure that there are food banks and people who need food in Las Vegas. So I'm going to make sure that the food is not going to go to waste.
There you go.
Okay, great.
Okay, with that, I'm going to pause and see if any last questions, and then we'll, let you guys go about your Sunday.
Actually, I was just curious if you have a time frame for when your version 2 of your rubs are going to be released.
They are ready already, but the problem I have is that I'm having supply chain problems. I don't know if you know, but you can't buy any plastics and stuff like that. So everything's designed. The labels are designed. The formula is ready. I got the final numbers. We are negotiating on the final numbers. And for those of you not aware, I'm putting out V2 of my rub. So V2 will be improved. So I constantly improve my product. And I was trying to figure out a way to do new versions. So I settled on the Fast and Furious, the Fast and Furious series of shows. So they always have a 2 and a 3 and a 4, right? So I designed my label, like my moolah will have a 2 on it, my jailbird will have 2, and then my all-purpose will have a 2. So what I'm doing is I'm constantly improving the product. So just to give you guys a kind of a behind-the-scenes glimpse about the method to my madness, I didn't really want to keep selling the hot and MSG as a separate product, but I cannot put MSG into the product because then it appears on the label and people won't buy it. So I'm pretty crafty. So I went and did a lot of testing using the natural versions of MSG. So I went to Japan to look at what Japanese people do. So I found that you can actually take the kombu. Kombu is the kelp. That's where Professor Ikeda discovered MSG from. And if you go to a Japanese store and you buy kombu, the kombu seaweed is dried seaweed that has a white powder on it. And the white powder is actually MSG. That's a natural form of MSG. So if you use a natural product, you don't have to declare it as MSG. Does it make sense? So yeah. I decided that, okay, so I can put MSG white powder in my product and sell it, because competitors typically buy that by the normal product. I can. So I thought to myself, why don't I see if I can buy seaweed, grind it up, right? And figure out how much of that seaweed would work in my rub without affecting the flavor of the rub, but enough of the product so that it can enhance the flavor as if I put MSG in my rub. So I've been working like a mad scientist in my kitchen, grinding all this stuff up and then mixing and matching to see what concentration of product I can mix into my product to make it a better product, plus other ingredients like koji. Koji is fermented rice, and a whole bunch of other umami ingredients, including red cabbage, fermented products, and so on, going back 2,000 years. So I've been doing a lot of research into 2,000 years worth of human culinary flavoring enhancers, natural ones. So I've been slowly blending these combinations of natural, ancient seasonings into my rubs. So that was the method of my madness. So after you do that, right, then you figure out you got a formula that works. So the next question is, where are you gonna buy that ground seaweed, right? And then you got to figure out if the cost structure will fit into the pricing that you can sell, right? Because obviously I cannot sell a bottle of rub for $50 because it's got $40 worth of seaweed in it, right? Doesn't work. So I've been like working hard the past year behind the scenes, night and day, trying to create version 2. So version 2, good news, is almost ready. So maybe what I can do is, if you guys are interested, shoot me an email. I'll send you guys the test samples. You can be my my guinea pigs, and then you can try it and see if you like it and it works for you. the challenge I have is this, right? So let me share you behind the scenes challenge. It's hard to use a natural product because you have to use a lot of it. So let's say if I put a lot of seaweed into the product, right, my rub will turn green. So I'm not sure that people will buy my product, right? If they want their ribs to, instead of be mahogany, the ribs turn out like seaweed color. But you know, that's what part of the fun of the product development journey is like. So if you guys are interested, you know, I can even make a video of all the dozens of failed experiments. So people don't realize for one success, right, you have failed 100 times behind the scenes. So when you shake my product onto your meat, and then it's the version 2, it doesn't look like it's seaweed, but it tastes really, really good. And then the MSG is already in it, but I don't have to say it's MSG because I never used an MSG. I used the actual ingredient that Professor Ikeda discovered in 1908 because it's a natural food that you have. So, you know, things like that, you know, I try to do. And then, like, for example, I use the dried Worcestershire powder. I'm playing around with koji, which dried fermented like rice. I'm playing around with red fermented cabbage. So there is a whole, you know, I want to say this, cooking is not new. Cooking is something that's been done for thousands of years, right? Homo sapiens on Earth, there's 8 billion of us. We have been cooking for thousands of years. So there's no need for me to like reinvent the wheel, because before the advent of modern chemistry, human beings cook with natural ingredients. So human beings knew that these ingredients provide additional flavor, like, for example, ground shiitake mushrooms provide a tremendous umami bump to your food. However, Homo sapiens have chemists. So the chemists will synthesize the chemical that's in the mushroom, synthesize the chemicals that's in the seaweed, synthesize the chemical in the fermented products. So what I've decided to do is I say, hey, why bother with the chemical version? I'll just use the natural version of those flavor enhancers and put it into my rub. And, you know, it's taken me a long time, but I've been able to kind of get it to work. And I found some food product producers who are willing to work with me, because I'm a nobody, right? If I show up to your doorstep and say, hey, you know, you run a food service company, can you grind me up some seaweed? They're gonna look at me and say, what planet are you from? You want me to supply you with ground seaweed? Because I'm grinding it in my coffee grinder in my kitchen, right? I'm grinding up all this stuff, and obviously I can grind it to make a test sample, but if I'm making a 500-pound batch of product, I can't do that. I gotta pay somebody to grind it up for me. So it's been an interesting journey navigating the food processing world, and even getting somebody to talk to you. Because, you know, when you talk to a food processing company, they ask you, do you want to buy 10,000 pounds or you want to buy 20,000 pounds? And I'm nowhere in that kind of scale yet.
Mm.
All right, great. So I thank you all for joining the call today. Hopefully this was something interesting to you, and you've gotten a little bit of a behind the scene glimpse of what's going on. So everybody have a great Sunday. And if you guys like these kinds of sessions, I'd be happy to do more Zoom sessions on Sunday morning, sharing with you all my crazy ass adventures as they develop.
This call is just a creativity. You're not crazy at adventures. They're called creativity art.
Yes, I love to drag you guys along so you can join me vicariously through my crazy adventures. And you know, life is brief, right? I always say live it with intensity. That's really, really important.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Have a great
Bye-bye.
Sunday. Okay, bye.
All right, have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
Have a
Thank you.
good afternoon, gentlemen.